Hi, welcome back to the Elf's Kitchen. I haven't produced a video in quite a while. There's been a lot of things going on, but I'm back on track now. We'll be making regular videos. Today, it's Japanese rice and how to do it really, really effectively. So today, it's Japanese rice, and here's what we're going to talk about a little bit. There's a bunch of different types of rice out there, but there's only a certain kinds that are used to make really true Oriental or Japanese, say call it sticky rices. Those are medium grain or fine grain, small grain rices that you'll find in products like Kokuho Rose and Cal Rose rices. The rices that are called basmati or fluffies or others are not used in Oriental cooking, so make sure that you get the right one. There are some really important steps to use to make the rice perfect, and we're going to go over some of those today. First of all, please, whatever you do, don't believe the bags that say pre-washed. Yeah, they might have been washed at some point, but they still have a lot of starch. So one of the things we're going to talk about is how to wash rice properly and make sure that it's ready for actual cooking. And there's a process for that. But if you want perfect rice, you follow these directions. I guarantee you'll be a very happy camper. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is measure the rice. Today we're going to make 4 cups of rice. Now, I'm using an electric rice cooker today. I will show you the method. I will talk to you about the method to make it if you only have pots with a top. But it's so much easier if you have a rice cooker. And look, this is a rather expensive rice cooker, but you can go to your local store, Walmart, whatever, and you can buy a very, very inexpensive rice cooker, sometimes just over 10 bucks. And they will cook rice just highly effectively. This particular one does a whole lot of other things. It makes various different types of things, different types of rice, porridges and other things, but I really like it. The company is Zojirushi and they make awesome, they're all made in Japan, awesome product. The important thing with rice, when you're cooking Oriental rice, is to make sure that you're measuring it properly. So every rice cooker or whatever comes with a measuring cup. This is for this kind of rice cooker. I have a ruler here, and you want to make sure that it's exactly even. It really is important. So that's 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, and 4 cups. This is a Kokuho Rose medium grain Japanese style rice, and that's what we're going to be using today. Once you're done with that, you're pretty much done with the rice. Now what we want to do is we actually want to wash it. Now behind me, I use this regularly. This is a Japanese rice washing bowl for prepping rice for cooking. Most people are not going to have these. I cook an awful lot of Japanese style foods. So this becomes handy because it makes it very easy to fill and drain and mix. But today I'm just going to show you the easy way of doing it with the pot itself. So we have our 4 cups of rice that are set in here, and now we're going to go to the sink and we're basically going to show you how to remove the starch from the rice and get it ready to cook. So as many people do, they bring their rice directly to the sink, right in the bowl that it's going to eventually be cooking in, and that's what we're going to do today. It's important to use not necessarily super cold water, but you should be not be using hot water because it'll start cooking the rice. But basically what we're going to do is we're just going to fill this bowl. We're going to get the water relatively in there high, and then we're going to take our hands and we're just going to run around the rice, just kind of moving, and you'll notice that the water is getting very cloudy. That's actually the starch coming out of the rice. And now we're going to have to repeat this process a number of times until we see the water actually get clear. So once we have that done, I'm going to let that go, watching the rice to make sure that we don't lose rice, and then just fill it again. And we're going to do this repeatedly until the water is clear. And you can see we still have a lot of starch in there. And all these rices, when you get them, even though they say pre-wash, you don't need to wash them, everything else, well, you really don't need to wash them, but you're going to be very starchy, and they're not going to be the consistency exactly the way you want it. So I'm going to continue this. I'll be back with you as soon as we get to clear and you can see what it looks like when it's actually ready to go. Now, to give you an idea of how much starch it was, this took me 7 times of filling before I got to this relatively. It's clear enough at this point. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drain this one more time, and then we're going to go over to the rice cooker where we go to the next step. And here we go. Now we're ready to get the rice going, and that's the easy part. We've got the rice washed, it's in the pot. You'll notice that on the side of the pot in this particular electric cooker, you have sushi rice, porridge, regular white rice, mixed rice. On the other side, you also have brown rice and semi-brown rice settings. Each one of those has water markings on here that say exactly how much water to put in for that particular type of rice to cook it perfectly. In this case, I almost always am making sushi rice. So all we're going to do is we're going to start adding water, and we want to get it exactly up to the 4 line. We do not want to go any higher or lower. I have to look at that carefully because it's hard to see sometimes. So I've got just a tad more. And again, use some good water, some good water. It doesn't have to be purified water, but the better the water is, the better. All right, just getting it up there. And there we are, right on the line. Now, before you start cooking this, even if you're doing it in a pot, you need to let this rest for about 30 minutes before you actually put the heat on. This particular unit will do that automatically. Once I hit the start button, the cooking button, it'll hold it for half an hour and then start cooking it. What that does is it allows the rice to get some of the moisture in it, which will help it expand properly and be sticky. But here is the great secret. And the secret is called kombu. You will not find this from people here in the States that teach about cooking Japanese rice, but having spent many years in Japan myself and having worked with a lot of Japanese cooks, this kombu is a type of seaweed. It's a flat seaweed, and it's readily available in a lot of different places. But this particular type of seaweed, when added to certain foods, especially when they're cooking, adds umami flavor, which is one of the 6 flavorings. And this will help the rice be just absolutely perfect. I absolutely recommend that if you're going to be making Japanese rice on a regular basis, that you pick up some kombu. You only need a small piece. If it's got a lot of salt on it, you can just take a little bit of water and get the white stuff off. It might be kind of heavy. And all you do is just drop it in. Just drop it in the top of the rice maker on top of the water, and you're good to go. When the rice is done, you just pull that out and throw it away, and that's it. And we'll go to the end of the rice and what we do when rice is fully cooked after we do this. So down she goes. I'm going to press the cook button. I love that. This is Zojirushi and the way that they have those little chimes. All right, we'll be back when the rice is finished. It's going to take some time to cook, and once it gets cooked, we'll show you what we do next to make sure that it's ready for anything else that we're going to do with it. All right, the rice is now done. So we open it up and whoo, look at all that steam. All right, you notice that the kombu is in there, and we're just going to throw that away. We don't need that anymore. And then we're going to use what's called a shamoji, which is a Japanese rice paddle. Now, because if you leave the rice in here like this, it's going to probably potentially burn the bottom or make the bottom hard. So right after the rice is done, we don't want to chop into it, we don't want to pull it, but what we want to do is just kind of cut through the rice a couple of different ways, and then very, very lightly turn the rice so that all the rices basically get a little bit looser, and that's all we have to do. Now the rice is basically, at this point, it's ready to be served if you want to serve it, or in this case with this particular electric cooker, you can just close the top and it will stay on a warm function until such time as we actually use it. So let me back up a little bit here and we'll talk about a few things. At this point, your rice is completely done and it's ready to do with it what you need to do with it. And if you're going to make sushi, for example, or onigiri, which is rice balls with things in them, you're going to want to season it the way that you season sushi rice, and we'll go into that in a different video. You can also use this rice for a number of other purposes, which includes just straight as it is, or you can take it and put it into a container, an airtight container, put it in the refrigerator for a day or two, and that will reduce some of the humidity, some of the moisture in it. It'll come out a little bit harder, which is perfect for making fried rice. If you're going to do it in a wok or a skillet or whatever, you want that. You don't want the rice straight out of the cooker to make fried rice. You want to cool it down. You want to start with it cold and then bring it back up to heat while you're cooking with other things, vegetables or noodles or whatever else that you're going to mix it with. And that's pretty much how you make rice. Now, I promised you earlier that if you're going to make rice without a rice cooker, that I would tell you how to do that. So it doesn't matter. The measurement is not all that critical. You can use as much rice as you want. The cool secret, the easiest way to figure out how much water to put in, is to place your hand directly over the rice in the pot, and then start filling with water until such time as the water reaches the very bottom of your knuckles. You have to have your hand flat. When the water is right at your knuckles, you can take it off and it's ready to cook. And what you want to do is you want to take that rice after it's been washed, as we did earlier, and you want to bring it to a boil. As soon as it comes to a boil, you want to take the temperature down to a simmer, cover the pot for 15 to 20 minutes. Once you've gotten to 15 or 20 minutes, what you want to do is remove the pot from the heat and keep it covered for another roughly 20 minutes or so. Once you've done that, take off the pot and it's going to look just like it did here in the electric cooker. So that, my friends, is rice making Japanese style. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it and you had some benefit from it, please consider subscribing. You can also hit the little bell button there. You'll get a notification anytime that we start releasing new videos, and those are going to start coming a lot more frequently. Underneath the description, I've listed a number of the items I use in this video and where you can get them if you'd so like. And again, I appreciate you all watching this through, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bon appetit. And as they say in Japanese, itadakimasu. See ya.